Stand by. We are early, and Chuck suggested it, and I agree. We're getting rolling here. Going to call to order the best Rotary Club in the... And do we have an invocation?
We have an invocation. Let us pray. We thank you, Lord, for your giving us sunshine today and allowing us to be part of a great community and members of the greatest Rotary Club in the universe. We ask that you give us a blessing in our endeavors to make our auction successful and to bless this food to our use. Amen.
All right. Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And we have the four-way test. Is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? Will it be beneficial to all concerned? And it looks like John's got us a song.
I do have a song, and this is a gender song because we have men singing and women singing, okay? All right, here we go. Daisy, Daisy, give me your answer due. I'm half crazy for the love of you. It won't be a stylish marriage. I can't afford a carriage, but you'll look sweet upon a seat of a bicycle built for two. Okay, ladies. There. Okay, ready? Larry, Larry, here is your answer true. You're all crazy if you think I'm in love with you. If you can't afford a carriage, then to hell with the marriage. And I'll be damned if I'll be seen on a bicycle built for two.
All right, thank you. All right, do we have any visiting Rotarians? No visiting Rotarians. We have guests of Rotarians. We have the Janicki table.
Okay, we have with us Niall, and he's been doing a great job. Thank you, Niall. I have with my cousin Mary, my cousin's daughter Mary. Her grandfather is Walt Janicki. So Walt Janicki and Mary working at Janicki Industries on Metcalf Street. And then I have Nick Fortner with the district for Boy Scouts of America or Scouting America. And he covers all of Whatcom County and all of Skagit County. So if you have anyone that's interested in scouting, that's looking for a unit or whatever, or someone that wants to write a check to scouting, you contact me and I'll get you a hold of Nick. Okay? So he just wants to get to know the community. Thank you.
Perfect. All right. Yeah. So yeah, he's a speaker. Yeah. So let's see. We're going to move right into club business and announcements. And our first club business announcement is going to be Students of the Month. Carrie.
Hi, good afternoon. It is a pleasure to introduce to you Brenna and Sam. They are two students who just excel not only in the classroom, but out in the athletics, in the musician world. And so it's with great excitement that I get to read to you their bios today. And also, I just want to thank the club for always giving us this time to be able to share just how wonderful our seniors are. Our first honoree today is Brenna Freese. Brenna is the daughter of Emily Freese and Kenneth. Brenna has maintained a 3.66 GPA while being actively involved in our high school. She's described by staff as tireless, dedicated, kind, generous, and a leader who is eager to help others. She has taken music classes every year at Sedro Woolley High School and plays in the jazz band, wind ensemble, and mariachi band. She also is our drum major for the marching band. So if you went to the football games, you saw Brenna guiding the way. Brenna is also a member of our girls tennis team, where she is playing varsity for the very first time this year. She has been a member of National Honor Society for 3 years and has earned department awards in fine arts, PE, science, and English. Outside of school, Brenna bowls every Saturday morning in a youth league, and she has been bowling for over a decade. She also enjoys going to the beach and spending time with friends and works part-time at Walgreens. Brenna says her favorite high school memories are the band trips to Disneyland and Silverwood and away tennis matches with her team. Her favorite quote comes from the all-wise Yoda, a familiar one for all our Star Wars fans out there. Do or do not. There is no try. So at this time, I'm going to have Brenna come to the microphone, share who's with her here today, and also her plans after graduation.
Hello, I'm here with my mom, Emily, and after graduation, I plan on going to Western Washington University to study marine biology. I'm studying marine biology and marine science.
Thank you, Brenna. Okay, who graduated from Western in this room? All right, so you have some fellow Vikings there. Our next recipient is Sam Duley. Sam is the son of William and Christina Duley. Sam has maintained a 3.84 all the way through his high school years. He is described by his teachers as dedicated, goal-oriented, kind, conscientious, and a quick thinker. His school involvement covers a broad range of interests, including cross-country, swim, track, band, Future Business Leaders of America, and French Club. He has taken almost every honors, AP, and college in the high school class offered, and has also taken several college-level classes through Running Start. Outside of school, Sam's main interest is running, and he gets a lot of miles over the years in the county with friends. He also repairs and resells old and new computers and volunteers at his church, helping with lighting and sound at services. And I just want to, as a small tidbit, Sam contacted me the last 2 years, and he would say, Miss Carlton, are there any families in need for old computers? And these are not old, they're like beautiful, like Apple laptop type of things. And so for 2 years now, I've been able to give, through Sam's donation, several students who needed a computer at home. And I just want to be grateful for that. He also repairs and Sam has worked as a landscaper and a groundskeeper at Bay Hill Storage for 7 years. His favorite high school memory is the last day of school party for distance runners at his friend Dylan's house, especially playing dodge brick with foam blocks. It turns out runners are competitive in every single type of game. And his favorite quote is, "The best way to predict your future is to create it." So I'd like to have Sam come to the microphone, share who's here with him today and his plans after graduation. And he's got a fabulous tie if you get a chance to look at it.
Hi, I'm Sam Duley, and I am here today with my mom, Chrissy. I usually just call her mom, though. I plan on also going to Western Washington University, where I was accepted into the honors program, and I hope to study electrical engineering while I'm at Western. Thank you.
Thank you again for this opportunity. And I don't know if you can see it, but I am beaming because I get to have these seniors with us every single day, and they're just shining bright. So thank you for the opportunity. I appreciate it.
All right. Moving on, just a reminder, we have no meeting scheduled for next week. That's the fifth Thursday. And the May 7th meeting is a work party. So, and it won't be at noon, it'll be at 4 p.m. I think Ruth has given us all our instructions. And I'm going to be passing around a little sign-up clipboard. We're getting geared up for the May 16th Rotary International Epic Day of Service at the YMCA Camp Anderson. And it'll be your typical work day, shovels, rakes, that kind of stuff. And let's see, Travis, did you have a announcement there?
Yeah, just real quick. Even though we are going to have teams this next coming year, but you guys, your voices rang very loud and clear about the quality of programs. So we are going to have a program chair whose job is to make sure we have high quality programs. So I'm just asking for volunteers. You don't have to raise your hand now, but if you have a passion about getting good speakers in here, we're probably going to look at doing no more than 1 or 2 high quality programs a month, and we'll fill the rest up with some club activities. So if that's something you'd be interested in, I'd love to hear from you, and I'll help you out in any way I can. Thanks.
And do we have any other announcements from the floor? Oh, Mark's got one. I was going to do yours, Mark, if you want.
Go ahead.
Yeah, there's going to be a Paul Harris committee meeting right after the regular meeting today, wherever Mark then ends up. So find him afterwards. And one other thing, we had a visioning committee meeting last night, and I did start a couple of minutes early. One of the things that we talked about is trying to get people out of here by closer to 1 o'clock. So we may start adjusting the programs, the schedule to where we start a little bit early and try to get out here a little bit early. I haven't really met anybody except for a politician or two, and no offense to the 2 that we have in the room here, that want to have more time at a meeting. So we're going to try to steer our way clear of actually, we had a pretty strong preference for getting people out at 1. One of our visioning committee members, I'm not going to say I'm not going to say his name, would like to have our meetings down to about 15 minutes, but that doesn't hardly leave us time to eat. But we're going to change up a few of the things. We're going to limit programs. We're going to try, like I said, shorten the agenda a little bit. We're going to change up the sergeant at arms a little bit. And we're going to maybe change up some of the raffle prizes. And John jumped up and had a song ready to roll. It's funny, Travis, when he sent out his survey, he had a whole bunch of people that says, get rid of the song, whatever you do. Oh my God, get rid of the song. And the other group, there were other just as strong, oh my God, don't get rid of the song. That's the only reason I come to Rotary. So we got a couple of different ends of the spectrum. But we're going to play with this a little bit, especially in the month of May. So look for some changes in the month of May. If we make them and you don't like them, let us know. This is our club. If we do, and if you do like something, we make changes, let us know that too. So let's see, with that, we are going to move in, and do we have a raffle?
We have a raffle.
We are going to have a raffle, I swear. Outside. All right, we got number 62. What would you like? Okay, guys, make your minds up. Come on. 62. Beer, wine, spin.
Okay, actually, this is Don Ocean. He had to leave.
Oh, gosh, what a guy. All right. Winner sings a song, tells a joke, or pays $2.
Everybody here would pay $2 to not hear me.
Nice. Next up. All right. Thank you. Next up, we've got. Gee whiz. Number 5. 5. Oh, yay. We got some banquet Coors. It's always good. Pinot Gris. You want a song? You want to sing? All right, what do we got? We got a smudge right there. What's it say? Chooses table to, winner chooses table to pay $2. Find a table that you want to get $2 out of. Everyone at the table. Which table would it be? Hey, John, you want to collect the $2 from your table? All right. 44. Next up is 44. 4. Oh, I saw that. I thought, yes, I remember that one being taken. Do you have 44? 24. Sorry, 4. There you go. What are you going to do? Spin a wheel. Oh, $5 cash. What a deal. Here you go. Buy a cup of coffee. Well, you need more now, but. And last but not least, 27. 27. Who is it? Oh, thank goodness, Rich. I was hoping you were going to win today. All bearings are working well today, aren't they? Oh, you can have some wine. I don't know. Pinot Gris. There you go. All right. Thanks, everybody.
All right, that's
That
it.
was fun.
All right.
Chuck?
We're going to move right into Sergeant at Arms. I volunteered to do Sergeant at Arms today. So if you have not purchased your tickets, whether you were going to go or not, if you have not purchased your tickets, that's going to be $2. If you have purchased your ticket, that's only going to be $1. If you have turned in your items, whether it be live auction or silent auction, that's $1. If you haven't, that'll be $2. And let's see. Oh, if your name is Ken Van Loo, that'll be $5. So you'll have an extra $5 later. You're gonna just throw it all in? Oh, and if you have a guest here who's one of the most popular guests, and you didn't introduce your guest, that'll be $1. And who's your guest today here, Eric?
Ziva.
All right. Ziva is our honorary member today. So we were just going to do that real quick and get that out of the way. And we're going to start off. We have 2 things going on for programs today. Andy, you ready to roll? Andy said she has a 9-minute presentation for her member talk. And then as soon as she's done, Nick, this is not a city council meeting. So you don't have to sell anything except for whatever your company. So you don't have to get buy-in. So just keep that in mind. All right. And with that, we're going to move in. Oh, we got to do Happy Bucks first while Andy's getting set up. Do we have any Happy Bucks? Oh, Carrie, as usual.
Okay. I have a happy 40 for Sam and Brenna. Thank you.
There we go. All right. Oh, John.
I got $20 for these fine students that came in. We always like to see the students. And you guys can, Carrie, are you paying attention? You guys can join Rotary because most of these people, GPA was way lower than yours. So you guys can get in, no problem. Yeah, anyway, so it's all good. We'll see you guys in about 5 or 6 years, okay?
All right, we got anybody happy back here? All right. Let me get you your mic back, and Andy is going to do, somebody time her, it'll be 9 minutes.
I think I'm down to 8 minutes now. Yeah. Anyway, I'm Andy Clay. I am possibly the oldest new member of this club, if there was such a thing. Anyway, I just want to give you a trigger warning to start out. Got a clicker? Yeah. Go for it. Right here. So the truth of the matter is I'm a nurse and a first responder, both by training and personality. That leaves you with kind of a dry sense of humor. I also came from Western Oklahoma, where it's dry in weather, it's dry in alcohol, and now it's dry in oil. So that gave me a very dry sense of humor. So you got both dark and dry. So if you're offended, I'm sorry ahead of time. I try to follow the four-way test. My dad was a Rotarian. We grew up with the four-way test in my family room. So this will be the truth. You'll judge whether it's fair or the rest of it. Okay, go ahead. This is my husband, Jim. We met at work 30 some odd years ago. He was running a successful business, and I was a person who was fixing problems in healthcare. We made a successful partnership, and then we got married and made a more successful partnership. We have 10 kids. We have 4 kids each, 8 kids there, then some adopted kids, then 10 grandkids, and 9 and 7/8 great grandkids, another one due in May. So most people, I won't show you all their pictures because I only have 8 minutes. And also most people kind of need a chart to figure out who's who in our family. I live here. This is just north of Edison. We hadn't planned to move there. We were living up north of Linden, and we came up to visit a friend, and we saw this place, and we came home, put a for sale sign up, and moved pretty much post-haste about 10 years ago. This is the dogs that we live with. Our children all left home. I don't know about the rest of you, but that left us with some dogs. This particular dog, I serve as a support officer. And this was the sad case of a lady who overdosed. Her mother called me and begged me to take the dog, and I figured I'd take it to the shelter. And it's 5 years later. We still have her. She is in the witness protection program. The mother forgot to tell me that the boyfriend of the woman who passed away was a drug dealer, and he was in jail, and he wanted his dog back. So we had to protect her that way. Next. This is Lucy. I also volunteered at the shelter for the past 35 years, and they called me one day and told me they had this dog. She's either a Bernedoodle or a Sheepadoodle. She's 100 pounds of love doodle. When I got her, she was about 6 months old, not housebroken. She'd been somebody's garage dog. And she's now 4 years old and really a nice dog. And next one, this is Leroy. Leroy is also a doodle. Somebody dumped like 20 doodles in a ditch. I think it was a breeder or somebody. And the shelter called me again because they know me and said, hey, we got a dog for you. Now, I have never, usually I take old dogs, they're about to pass away. I had never had one of these dogs before. It was a whole lot of work, but Leroy is now housebroken, and he's a very nice dog too. He's almost as nice as your dog, who smelled all my dogs when I came in. Anyway, that's what happens when the kids leave town. Now that I live in Edison, though, I get to do this. I've been a volunteer firefighter. We were lucky when we bought the house. I didn't know that the only way we could get fire insurance was to have a little fire hall at the bottom of the hill. And that required some volunteers from the hill. I wasn't sure if this guy, that's John Leander, our old chief, would take me, but he did. I was really fortunate, put me through EMT training, and the rest is kind of history. I am pointing at a fire, but if you notice, I have a stethoscope on. That's because they don't let me go in fires, but they do let me do rehab for the firefighters. It's been a great joy to serve with them. Now, we also live in Edison, and if you haven't been there for the chicken parade, you're missing out. It's about 3 blocks long, so I'll warn you, you have to get there really early or you're going to miss the whole parade. But as you can see, everybody dresses for it, and some people even bring their chickens. In my spare time, then, I do what I have always done, and that is to work in healthcare. Jim and I had retired, and I had not planned to go back to work, but we had a facility in Bellingham, and I got a call one day that things were not going well there. And because I was living basically in Bellingham, it was horrifying to me. I went in there, and truly things were not going well. So I started another healthcare company, Nightingale Healthcare. We named it that because Florence Nightingale believed that if you could provide the right environment for people, they'd heal themselves. And we pretty much believe that. These are the 6 buildings that we currently run. The truth is we got all these buildings because they were all in serious trouble. As I mentioned earlier, I kind of met my husband and made my career out of fixing things that were broken in healthcare. So the first building we got was Mount Baker Care Center in Bellingham, and then Arlington Health and Rehab, and then Everett, View Ridge down here, and then Sharing Care. State was about to close that one down. And then Chuckanut Ridge is the newest one, and Normandy Park down in Normandy Park. It keeps us pretty busy. I have an amazing team. I kind of had to step back, and now my son is the chief operating officer of that company, but it's going pretty well. Now, this is a picture of my son, Jay. I told you we each had 4 children. I had 4 boys. My husband had 2 girls and 2 boys. And my 4 boys were pretty rambunctious, but this was really the easiest one of the 4. Unfortunately, he was killed about 3 months before graduating from college with his engineering degree. For about a year, I couldn't get out of bed, couldn't do anything. I finally went to see a psychiatrist. She said to me, you know, you're just grieving. You just need to do something hard. So next slide. One for that. That one, yeah. He told me I should probably go find something hard like climbing a mountain. My son had been a mountain climber. He was doing the 7 summits. And he had always told me when it came to Kilimanjaro, we could do it together because it wasn't hard. It was hard as it turned out. But I discovered Africa at that time. And in honor of my son, we decided, because we're crazy, to build a school. That's school. We found a spot in the middle of nowhere in a famine-prone area, the end of the road, no electricity, no water. Next slide. And we started the Clay International Secondary School. We didn't name it, the community did, but it's a secondary school for kids who are too poor to go to school any other way. We have about 100 students right now. We had 120, but the government decided we shouldn't teach 9th grade anymore. It's been 20 years of the most fun we've ever had. Next slide. You can see some of the students here. And that first shot you got of us digging the foundation, this is what ended up happening. That's our school today. And those are our students. 100% of them qualify for university now, which is incredible given that these kids come from the poorest and worst thing that you've ever seen. Now, because of these girls here, we discovered something that we hadn't really paid attention to. The girls weren't doing as well as the boys in school. So my friend Celeste was with me on the trip, and we found out that the reason the girls weren't doing as good as the boys is they had to sit out a week a month. So she started, next slide, Days for Girls. This is Celeste. Some of you may have seen her talk at various Rotary things. She was my very good friend, and we started Days for Girls in my barn. We're now in over, I think, 200 countries, over 3 million girls. Next slide. And here's just some of the girls. And we provide reusable menstrual products and health education for women all over the world. And I have been really blessed to be able to go to all kinds of places and do these teachings and distributions. So my time is up. Any questions?
Thank you, ma'am.
Well, we probably could have just done a whole Andy program instead of just a member talk there, but thank you, Andy. And I'm going to turn this mic over to John to introduce our program.
Andy, we definitely need a couple programs for all the stuff that you've been doing in the last 30, 40 years. So we look forward to that. Okay, I have with me Nick Lavacca. Nick is, started out as a boat builder and came in here and has risen to all kinds of different jobs. I can't seem to overwhelm him. He keeps jumping into stuff. But at the beginning of the year, I asked Peter, we need to have someone that's more involved in getting our public message out. We're becoming a large enough company that there's a lot of misinformation that just shows up. And so we need to get out there a little bit. So I had Nick put together kind of an impact report of what Janicki Industries are doing. It's not like we want to show everybody or tell everybody, but if we don't, we get a lot of misinformation. So this is just some information about Janicki, and Nick's going to do that. And we just want to thank Nick for all this service in the city too.
Well, thank you guys so much for allowing me to do this. For one, I'm passionate about Janicki. I've always loved doing my job wherever I've worked. I've loved doing that, but I've really fell in love with the company itself. So you guys know a bit about Janicki. They've done a presentation here before on the basics of Janicki Industries. Here, there we go. The history and what we've done in the past. You know that Janicki Industries started in '93 with Peter. He started a mill. They weren't ready for the tool to make patterns. So he started making patterns for them and then got John in. And then they ended up creating Janicki Industries. And now we're in all different sectors. So that history goes long before the '93. It goes back into like the 1920s when his grandfather homesteaded here and saw the impossible as opportunity. And then their fathers did the same thing, or their father and uncle did the same thing. And that's the same thing that some kids that wrestled at the high school did here in Sedro Woolley to make a startup company. So you guys know about the milling machine from the 2019 presentation, but just to recap, they're incredibly big milling machines that allow us to build things that otherwise would not be able to be done to a super precise capabilities so that we can facilitate all of our customers' needs. We also use those to build parts as well as a lot of other things, but right now, aerospace parts are a key sector to what we do, so it's been a lot of fun. But let's go ahead and talk about our impact in the community and in Skagit County and in Washington. So Boeing is the largest aerospace manufacturer here in Washington State. As you guys know, they employ about 80,000 people. Janicki Industries is up to about 2,000 people. So we have about a 1.8% of that market share. But without Boeing, we have over 10% of the aerospace manufacturing here. We're actually the largest company, the goods producing employer above Snohomish. And we're soon to be the largest employer in Skagit County. And so there was a study that was done by the Chamber of Commerce over in Seattle, and they want to see what was the impact of aerospace and what was the impact of manufacturers within the region. And so what they came up with was that every dollar spent in aerospace, when we buy a set of gloves or some 2x4s or putty or carbon fiber, that puts 40 cents of economic development back to the community in some way or another. For every one job that we're hiring on, it puts 2.5 jobs into the community some other way through indirect support. So that's really great. But ultimately, we create jobs for a lot of great people in this community and beyond. About 480 of our employees live in Sedro Woolley. Over 1,000 of them live around Skagit County. We have employees up in Snohomish and Bellingham and all those too, but most of them live here in the Skagit County. And so it's really awesome to have those impactful jobs that make a difference. The growth pattern has been amazing. As you guys can see, we doubled in size from 2022. It was 917 employees. And then we went to 1,837 employees within 3 years. You can't do that at a company and be successful. Many have tried. In 2018, we started to uptick a bit. We realized this is difficult. So pulled back down, recampaigned what we were doing to the staff, let them know that this is the change and this is the direction, this is the trajectory the company hopes to take. There was core values that were established from top down. There was relationship building and safety in other areas from the bottom up. And we developed a sense of community basically within the company and a great culture that allowed us to have that 100% growth over a 3-year span, where many other companies would have collapsed due to morale, quality, and the ability to make deliverables on time with so much training. So there's a lot of variables that go into that kind of growth, and we're looking at doing that again and again and again. So it's a really good template we've come up with. It's not easy, but it is something. So EDAS put this out back in 2023, and they basically said, let me move this guy out of the way. They basically said that, we have about 1,287 jobs when that was put out. We've grown 50% since then, but we were by far the largest goods producing employer around. You get the refineries, and that's down to about 500 employees each. Above that, you get jobs that are in services, maybe in healthcare. So a lot of that's with health insurance or government support. Also, you get government jobs. That's a big one. City workers, schools, things like that. That's all taxpayer funded. So there's a difference in goods producing employers within the community and how that stabilizes the community because it's contributing and helping build that up. So when you look at it, we actually have a lot of different types of positions around, but they're great types of positions to have. So people can come in with no experience, with some trade school, college, or some 4-year or 8-year educational backgrounds, and they have a place at Janicki. The average wage is actually pretty impressive at over $90,000, right? That's really good for our community. It's really good for the parents and the families. And then, of course, the children don't have to leave to go find work. They have that right here in your backyard. So in looking at what we did in 2022 to 2025, we realized we put $409 million into Washington State, but $248 million of that went to Skagit County, and $83.1 million of that into Sedro Woolley with salaries, purchases, service contracts, things like that. When we want to get parts, we go to the auto parts store locally. And it's cheaper to go. I didn't even question it. It's cheaper to go to Amazon. It's cheaper to get it from here. And I've been told, yeah, Nick, but shopping local makes the community grow. And so that's been the philosophy, and that's why we end up being successful where we are with a lot of the people. And you'll see that related to what we do as far as services and goods we purchase for our company to succeed, but also there's indirect effects of that as well. So salaries within the communities go a long ways, because when people have the good salaries, they tend not to work on their car themselves. I was thinking about that today. So when I had my roommate still go out, I fixed it myself because I didn't want to pay the mechanic, right? But when I had extra money, then I was like, well, my heater core's out, I'll send it to the mechanic shop. It felt better, and it created work for that mechanic shop. So when you have good paying jobs and they're spread out and there's long-term employment, people tend to have that in their savings, and they're willing to go out to restaurants, willing to spend extra on vacations or fun activities. It's pretty good. But also those indirect effects that happen in the community. When you're buying a lot of wood, when you're buying a lot of product that's around, they need to hire more people. When more people are eating out, or when you're servicing those contracts, then they end up having more people they have to hire to support their business. Not only that, but also the donations that go back in, not just from Janicki Industries, but from the people around the community that want to continue to give back. So it leaves a far-reaching impact that goes throughout when you have a strong startup company from some wrestlers at a high school grow into what it is. So I always appreciate that. Let's look at some of the facilities that we have, right? You guys know that we've got facilities here in Sedro Woolley. It's a hometown, right? It's where the headquarters of this company is, right down on Metcalf. But we also have facilities up in Hamilton. We have a facility in Bellingham. We just got a building over in Mount Vernon. We also have them in other places like Utah. So for Sedro Woolley, it's pretty impressive what we ended up starting out with. There was the cobbler factory, as you guys know, building some shoes. Take that, turn that into another purpose of manufacturing and give more jobs. Well, that escalated into building 2, building 3, building 4, and it's allowed us to have a pretty big campus down there for our putty patterns as well as our metal tooling division. So we do a lot of metal tooling, and it's pretty precise metal tooling that we do that's unlike other weld shops that you'll see around. We're not building pipe, we're actually building very complicated shapes, and we're bringing those different alloys together. In Hamilton, that's our biggest campus. It's our most advanced campus. As we're building these buildings out, they get more complicated, but they also get more aesthetically appeasing, right? So we actually see a lot more engagement with John, who's an architect by trade. He's in there going, what can we do to make this look cooler? What can we do to accent the background, the mountains, the trees as we build these out, which is kind of cool. So when you see them in the morning, when you walk out of the shop after a long day's work, you come across this view and you see these buildings around that's not concrete jungle. It's actually amazing setting. So to be able to have that in clean areas and well-lit areas, it makes you feel better at the end of the day when you leave work. Not only that, but there's been a lot of advancements in technologies. So we have to increase our technology within the shops as well. Better, more advanced machinery, more complicated tooling. We utilize obviously a lot more solar energy because of the power draw we have. So you guys will see it down at Highway 20. If you're going up to the Hamilton side, you'll see a lot more of the solar panels around. You'll see living roofs on top of buildings, experimental products that John was wanting to see would work out. They're actually pretty fascinating. I love this slide. I don't know what John thinks about it, but it's really cool to go underneath in our materials bay in B9 and look up at the fiberglass panels that our teams laid up, and they laid those up. And they made that unique formation for a living roof to hold the snowpack, soil, and water and actually grow vegetation on the top. So pretty awesome. That one right there to the right is actually over our electrical rooms for that entire building. That's how confident that they are in the product. Smart. All right. So B10, right? The largest wood building built since the Tacoma Dome. That's amazing. There wasn't a steel available, so it was a constraint in the way. What happened? It wasn't a delay in the process of building. What we did was we go, how do we do this better? And how do we make this work within the time frame we need to do that with? Lumber. It's a logging company, right? It was a logging company. That's where the roots came from. So what they did is they ended up cutting off of 248 acres, selective cutting, taking that, sending that south, having those made into planks, laminated together so they can make mass timber, a renewable resource. Also, it creates fire breaks in the forest. So that way you have more roads, you have clearings underneath, people are working, you don't have those fire risks coming up the mountainside. So it was really awesome. We got those laminated down there, shipped up into B5, and our teams actually built those trusses in B5, and they sent them over to B10 to be built out. So that was really amazing. It's fascinating. There's a lot of articles written about that. If you guys get a chance, check it out. B12, our most complicated and advanced facility that we've had to date, but it's not the last. We're going to get more and more complicated as we go. B12 is a pretty phenomenal building. It's got the largest autoclave we've ever had, which is 18 foot. It's got our largest span of a mill that we've ever built, which is 26 feet, along with a lot of other types of equipment that's state of the art. That's going to revolutionize the way that aerospace in this county is done. And Janicki just continues to grow in that direction. So let's look at workforce development. Workforce development is very important. We actually partnered up with the high schools. Thank you, Carrie. And that was a dream of John's back years ago when you came over to the office and asked, hey, can we get something working with these kids? The biggest point was to keep them off the street. It wasn't to actually, get the high schoolers in there. It was aiming for the 8th graders and the 9th graders. Well, you can't have 8th grade and 9th grade people working in there. So what we'll do is we'll provide tours. We'll go to the classrooms. We'll do presentations for the 5th graders, the 7th graders, the 9th graders here in Sedro Woolley and over in Concrete and elsewhere, Mount Baker, Oak Harbor, different areas. And so what we do is we can actually take what we have been inspired to do to the classroom and let the kids know this is your future. These are the minds from your area that have done this, and you guys have that same creativity inside you. So it's pretty awesome. Now, with the partnership program with the high school students, we have incredible students from Sedro Woolley and Concrete that come in. Taylor here from Sedro Woolley was our first person to come in. She hired on right afterwards, which blew us away. And then now she's doing school and working, and she gets that tuition assistance. So the company provides $5,000 of tuition assistance for each employee to choose where they want to go to school. We don't do the scholarships to students to go to school. We let the employees choose where they want to go. So she's advancing that, but she cycled through all the different programs. Brandon here as well was able to learn the soft skills, showing up to work on time, learning how to take instruction, learning how to read work orders, learning how to work with different people over challenges. It was pretty phenomenal to see them come together and build out character to be the type of employees that we value. When I went back to tell you guys about the growth that we had, the 100% growth, that wasn't because of something that we moved around mechanically. It was the culture. It was the values that we had that we work with. When we're hiring people, we look at temperance. We look them in the eyes. We walk with them. We talk with them. Skills important, talent's important, but temperance, attitude, that means so much more. And so that's what we recognize in the students that are coming out. And thank you very much for that. Isabella really wanted to go into Metro. So out of high school, she was like, can I hire on to Metro? And we're like, well, metrology is kind of a technical field. You sure you want to do this? No, I really want to do this. I love doing it in the school partnership program. Can you give me a try? Sure, let's give her a try. She did amazing. She's now running our brand new CMMS machine a year and a half out of high school. She's a phenomenal employee, and she's a leader in the company now, and she's training other people, including her little brother, which is pretty awesome. So, we also work with the colleges, the universities, the trade schools. We do tours there. We partner with them, and we see how can we better adapt to make kids or students coming out of these colleges ready to get into the working world. And so that's been a really awesome thing to do. Our on-the-job training, though, is the thing I like the most, because when I came to Janicki, I didn't have any previous training in what they did. I built yachts and mechanical, electrical installations, things like that, but nothing like what they did. It was the mentorship. It was the team players that came alongside me as a brand new employee, as a Tech 1, and built me up into management positions, into leadership roles through various programs we've done. And I'm not the only one. We have a vice president of Sedron right now that started off as a mill tech. Our director of B10 started off as a mill tech on Graveyard. One of our lead IT specialists started off as a floor helper, which we have a lot of those stories around because it's about mentorship and it's about having that good attitude, that right culture, that right thinking that we've been able to do. So that's been really awesome to see. I'm going to see if this video will play with sound. Can you guys hear that?
4 brave explorers ready to ride the most powerful rocket ever launched.
I think there will be a delay with this video. Right. What do you think? Okay. We'll go ahead and skip the video then. Let me do this. And it is a really cool video, though. It's Artemis, right? You guys watched Artemis launch? Anybody familiar with Artemis? Artemis 1 was phenomenal. Artemis 2 went around the moon, farthest distance that any person had traveled. It was amazing that in Sedro Woolley in Hamilton, Washington, we had a major part to do with building components for that, right? And precision machining. We built a bulkhead that took 6 weeks of solid machining to do. It was the unthinkable, the undoable, and we were able to see that done here in this area with the people that live and work in this area, which was phenomenal. So those programs are going to go forward, I'm sure, but they're more difficult without companies like Janicki. And with Janicki in the play, it makes it all the more better, and it makes it all the more easier to work with them and work with us. So pretty phenomenal there. We have a number of projects we worked on. Juno right here is phenomenal because it ended up getting done. It was tooling for Juno, the satellite that surveyed Jupiter recently, back in 2012. Then they launched it, took years to get to Jupiter, and then they got the most advanced photography that they could have ever imagined, just surveying the surface with that satellite. And that satellite probably would have gone up without Janicki, but again, it would have been more difficult. And then the people in this area wouldn't have had that pride to know we helped put that up there, which is pretty cool. There's other ones too. There's, James Webb, various other things with space. I really get a kick out of space, but we also work with a lot of defense contracts too. National security is incredibly important to our freedom to be able to move and do and be in school and live life. And you need companies out there willing to work hard and be diligent and be innovative to make that kind of stuff happen. So that's pretty phenomenal as well. The commercial aerospace, I tell you right now that the most advanced things happening in the world, land, air, sea, or space, Janicki Industries is touching in one way or another. I guarantee that. I can't tell you what they are, but I'm sure that if you guys look anything on your news feeds and you say that looks insane, chances are it's probably happening in your backyard, or we're in it somehow, one way or another. But we work with a lot of aerospace and trying to get new technologies, new innovations off the ground, literally, and into the air. So that's been really awesome to see as well. We do so many other things. We touch into ground transportation, maritime, marine vessels. We touch into energy. We touch into anything and everything you guys can think of. And we have that footprint in the community, and it allows us to see that far-reaching goals of seeing the American dream take place within our employees. When you walk through the shop, and those of you guys maybe have done the tours, you see a lot of smiling faces. You see people working diligently, overcoming problems, and they have a lot of pride in what they're doing, but they're happy at what they're doing. And that means so much to everybody at Janicki to see that happening. And I know it means a lot to John. Any questions?
Thanks, Nick. Yeah, go ahead, Senator.
What is the hard thing
Sure,
about getting
that's
people to
actually a
come
very
here?
easy. The number one obstacle is the cost of housing and the cost of living in the state of Washington. Yep. Otherwise, we get a lot of people, but they decide, especially if they're experienced and have an aerospace job in Wichita, Kansas, or something like that, or they just come. Yeah.
I will say though, because I work in human resources, and the benefits that we provide for people coming to Skagit Valley and coming to Janicki outweighs a lot of that. John and Peter, the benefits they provided for their first 7 employees haven't changed up to 2,000 employees. So it's pretty incredible what they're doing.
Yeah, Mary's kind of new to thing. We used to give free donuts on Friday. So, we're cutting back. Yeah, we got a question back there. Cheryl?
I just want to know if you guys have any future plans of helping with the traffic down Highway 20. Because I live in Birdsview. I can't even get out on the highway.
I know. And that's what you got. So you call the DOT. It's their highway. Okay.
Actually, that sounds like a government official here, and
Yeah.
we could ask a couple of them here.
If I can add to traffic too, I just want to remind everybody about Skagit Steel. Okay, I know it's been a long time since that place closed down, but how many people worked there? Does anybody remember? 1,600 people were at Skagit Steel, and that's a lot of cars in Sedro Woolley and driving around and stuff like that. But when it went away, it hurt, right? So traffic, it's a challenge, but it can be a good challenge too when you think about it. So.
Okay, I'm around if anyone ever has a question at any time. But Nick did a good job of trying to get this out, and so people understand what we got going on here. But we've been a partnership in this city, in this community for years. And we've had great education at the high school level. At Western, we've gotten a lot of a lot of our VPs are literally from Western. And so it's been really a good community. And people don't know that you're not supposed to be upriver, they think it's great. And so it's only old timers that have a problem with upriver. Okay. Yeah, quick.
Here, hang on a minute, Cheryl.
Yeah.
You got a girl voice back here. You got to carry a little bit.
So about the traffic thing. So my dad retired from Seattle City Light. He lived here in Sedro Woolley. They had a bus that picked a lot of them up here, and they commuted together to Seattle City Light. Would that help with the traffic?
We are doing that, actually. We actually are doing that. We have quite a few carpool things coming from Bellingham. So they come in a van. We have some people that are trying to sign up for people that start and park at the old Vern Sims lot, you know, to come upriver. So we are working that.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Thanks, everyone.
All right. So thank you, Nick. Appreciate the presentation. Andy, thank you for yours. Guests, Nick, Mary, Niall, and Ziva, we appreciate you. Our students and parents, thank you for coming today. And does anybody else have anything for the good of the order? Too bad, because we're going to go ahead and adjourn. And with that, we're adjourned. Please help clean up. And don't forget, if you're on the Paul Harris Committee, to meet with Mark Venn.